G'day guys, my name is Caleb, otherwise known as the Critic Kebab, and depending on when this is uploaded, the 92nd Academy Awards are just about to begin or they have just taken place. In this series, I have been discussing all my thoughts on the films that have been nominated for Best Picture at this year's Oscars. There is a playlist on the channel with all the reviews. If you have enjoyed this series and like this video especially, please show me your support by hitting that like button. The final movie review for the 2020 Oscars Best Picture nominated films is Joker.
If you just smile.
Before this movie came out, I was heavily against the idea of a standalone Joker origin story movie. What I love about the Joker is his mysterious and unpredictable nature, and him not having a defined backstory was always terrifying to me. That's why I love Heath Ledger's portrayal in The Dark Knight, because he changes his backstory constantly. So the idea of this movie focusing on that backstory did not appeal to me at all, and I wasn't that keen for the film honestly. But I must admit, I have never been more surprised and never changed my mind so quickly about something till after I walked out of the theatre for this film. It is directed by Todd Phillips and stars Joaquin Phoenix as Arthur Fleck, a mentally challenged comedian in Gotham City. This is one of the most unsettling movie-going experiences I have ever had, and I will cherish that first time viewing forever. I was emotionally affected after watching this, and that is due to Joaquin Phoenix's unhinged performance. He embodies this character flawlessly, and not only is his acting phenomenal, but his physical transformation is terrifying. He without a doubt deserves the Best Actor Oscar, and even though he's up against Adam Driver in Marriage Story, there is no beating this unprecedented incarnation. The whole film has an unsettling and uncomfortable tone. Its exploration of mental health was fascinating, and because it's taken very seriously, you as the viewer become engrossed into that narrative being presented to you. The screenplay is very well structured, and Todd Phillips' directing is brilliant. The entire time, you are locked inside the worldview of Arthur. This creates an incredibly intimate and sometimes sympathetic relationship with the viewer and Arthur. The music is also phenomenal. It's creepy, but it also gives you that sense of being enchanted. Arthur's bizarre behavior throughout the film is immoral, but you can't help but feel sorry for him and understand his point of view. The music does a great job of connecting you with him, despite the insanity on display. This film is definitely not for everyone, but it is so well crafted, and its character study of the Joker is beautiful in a way that makes you sick to the stomach. I of course recommend you check it out if you haven't already, but just go into it knowing that it is an incredibly unsettling film that will most likely make you feel uncomfortable. But to me, that's what I love about cinema. And yes, I use the word cinema for a comic book movie. Todd Phillips and his team have created a film that taps into your emotions and affects you in a deep and meaningful way. This film is yes about a comic book villain, but it also has so much to say about the society we live in. Now I'm going to transition into my spoiler chat and break down some of the moments that stood out to me. So if you haven't seen it yet, now is your spoiler warning. But if you have seen the film, stick around to hear my spoiler thoughts. Right from the start, you sympathize with Arthur. When he is dressed as a clown and those bullies steal his sign and start beating him up, you can't help but feel sorry for him and have pity. This opening lays the foundation for this journey you're about to go on with this character. One aspect of this character that Phoenix nailed was the laugh. In the scene on the bus where he is entertaining that child, it is revealed that he has a condition that makes him laugh uncontrollably. This was an interesting concept that I have since bought into, but Phoenix's laugh is fantastic. It sounds unique, but also sounds just like that classic Joker laugh that we're all so familiar with. Also, the moments when he does laugh and you can see it physically hurting him, those moments even made me clear my own throat whilst I was watching. This truly is a visceral experience. Now, so much of what this film is setup and payoff. Arthur imagines going on the Murray Franklin show and having a father figure. Randall gives him a gun, and that gun is used to defend himself on the subway, which was part of the idea. Him dancing in the bathroom as catharsis comes back at the end, just before he goes on the Murray Franklin show as the Joker. This is great screenwriting, because you're getting interested in narrative payoffs, but also you're getting into a habit of receiving a payoff. So the moment when he does go to Arkham Hospital and discovers the truth about himself and his mentally challenged mother, it feels even more shocking. When the concept of Arthur being Bruce Wayne's brother was introduced, I remember feeling intrigued, and because Arthur is an unreliable narrator, you are forced to see through his perspective. But once you discover he was an abused child and neglected by his adopted mother, this again messed me up in a way because I just felt so sorry for him. He thought he had finally found something of worth in his life, only to just be another Thomas Wayne outcast. I love Thomas Wayne's portrayal in this film. I love the line when he addresses someone being cowardly by hiding behind a mask. A great reference to Batman, obviously, but the moment when he punches Arthur in the face, I got vibes of him being Batman, just like how he was in the Flashpoint timeline. Another moment that ties heavily into the setup and payoff was the relationship between Arthur and his neighbor. Because the story is unfolding through Arthur's perspective, you are made to believe that he is forming this relationship with this woman. But it all turns out to just be in his head. I remember thinking whilst watching it the first time that this relationship subplot was feeling undercooked. But that is because it was all in his head and it only serviced Arthur when it needed to. This unreliable narrator storytelling, if done right, can be very captivating cinema. The scene where Arthur kills Randall was terrifying. As that scene progresses, the suspense builds and builds, and even when he does snap, it is brutal to watch. Also, the intentional, unintentional humor used here with the little person not being able to open the door just added to that already existing feeling of being extremely uncomfortable. But after Arthur commits this murder, this is when he fully transitions into Joker. The scene with him dancing down the stairs, illustrating him being set free, a parallel to when he was walking up those stairs and feeling constrained by society. This then leads to the police chase, which leads to the subway fight, which leads to more chaos. And thanks to the Joker's presence, society, unknowingly yet, has become more toxic. Now, it's important to remember that Joker is going onto the Murray Franklin show to kill himself. We see him rehearse this, and this is what we expect. But of course, Joker is provoked, and this leads to him using that gun which started everything off to kill Murray on live TV. This entire sequence felt unpredictable, and the tension throughout was masterfully maintained by Todd Phillips. I also want to praise one more thing with the score. I noticed the music that is used during the dancing scene in the bathroom is used just before he walks out onto the show when he's behind the curtain. The reuse of this music in this moment, I think, symbolizes not only how unhinged Joker is, but also how he uses dancing as a catharsis. Now, the final sequence of this film is incredible. Riots are breaking out all over Gotham City, and despite not wanting to be a political statement, Joker is the catalyst that throws Gotham City into disarray. I love that the downfall of Gotham is due to the Joker, and the idea that the crime and corruption that we're used to from the Batman mythology is birthed out of this event is brilliant to me. Now, not everyone will like this moment because we have seen it so many times, but even as someone who is fed up with seeing the crime alley, I was blown away by its use here. The fact that the Batman origin story is also birthed from this is unbelievable to me, and I absolutely love how they did it in this film. This might be my favorite crime alley scene out of all the Batman films. I know not everyone will agree with me, but I would love to hear your thoughts on this down in the comments below. The final moments with Joker being praised by the rioters is disturbingly beautiful. There is something mesmerizing about Joaquin Phoenix's performance, and when he gives himself the iconic blood smile, I felt complete. This feels straight out of the comics, and the Joker is born and now ready to terrorize Gotham City. I know this film is said to be a standalone story, but I still think it would be a massive mistake to not tie this in to the upcoming Batman universe that's being rebooted with Matt Reeves and Robert Pattinson as Batman. You don't necessarily have to have Joker appear, but the idea that Batman was spawned out of this Gotham is very compelling to me. And who doesn't want to see Joaquin Phoenix as Joker go up against the Batman? Those are my thoughts on Joker. This is an incredible film that is brilliantly directed, has beautiful lighting and cinematography, the score is phenomenal, and Joaquin Phoenix is insane as the Joker. His unhinged performance is up there on the level of the late Heath Ledger. Heath Ledger is still better, but I believe Phoenix should be the second Joker to win an Oscar. My grade for Joker is going to be an A. I remember some people complaining, saying that he didn't feel like the criminal mastermind Joker that he should be. I think it's important to remember that this is an origin story, and that version of the Joker that we're all so familiar with through the comics, video games, or TV shows is not at that level just yet, because he has only just begun. Also, it's pretty well documented that Todd Phillips and his team just wanted to make a film about mental illness and trick people into getting it made by using the Joker. Anyway, let me know your thoughts on this film, and where does Joaquin Phoenix rank amongst the live action Jokers for you? Also, let me know your thoughts on this review series. If you did enjoy it, please hit that like button, share it with your friends, and subscribe to the channel if you are new around here. Check out my other reviews on the Best Picture nominated films via the playlist, and I'll hopefully see you all in another video.